the 135th anniversary of FDR's birth. And, you know, he talked about the first way that you mess with a country internally is by encouraging basically bigots within the country, the sowing dissent, pitting one group against another, saying we're not united here, we're divided. Right? That's the first strategy. Here he continued.
Men can lose confidence in each other and therefore lose confidence in the efficacy of their own united action. Faith and courage can yield to doubt and fear. The unity of the state can be so sapped that its strength is destroyed.
Are we here? Yet?
All this is no idle dream. It has happened time after time in nation after nation during the last 2 years. Fortunately, American men and women are not yet easy dupes.
Yet?
Campaigns of group hatred or class struggle have never made much headway among us and are not making headway now.
And that was 1940.
But new forces are being unleashed. Deliberately planned propagandas to divide and weaken us.
That was the American First
Movement. In the
Movement.
face of danger, as other nations have been weakened before. These dividing forces, I do not hesitate to call undiluted poison. They must not be allowed to spread in the New World as they have in the Old. Our moral, our mental defenses must be raised up as never before against those who would cast a smokescreen across our vision.
There you go. I mean, it's as if he was channeling today, except that he was experiencing that then. You know, he had Lindbergh and the America First movement and the American Nazi movement and the Ku Klux Klan, and there were all these, you know, alt-right groups of the day. And this was in May of 1940 that he gave, that Franklin Roosevelt gave the speech. He had all those groups saying, I can't, why do you want to take, you know, why would anybody want to bring, you know, Jews in from Germany? You know, leave them alone. You know, they're just refugees. All right, screw that. Did you notice, by the way, that in the Holocaust Remembrance Day, which was Saturday, I believe it was, it might have been Friday, but I'm pretty sure it was Saturday. Holocaust Remembrance Day, the White House, in their announcement recognizing Holocaust Remembrance Day, never mentioned that 6 million Jews died. In fact, they never mentioned the word Jews, which was the whole goal of Hitler's final solution. I mean, yeah, he went after gays, he went after trade unionists, he went after communists, he went after, he went after a lot of people. But basically, they were his political opponents. But the group that he singled out, and gypsies also, but the group that he singled out specifically for extermination was the Jews. Now, why would this White House not mention Jews in their Holocaust Memorial Day speech? Could it be a shout out to the groups that FDR was just warning us against? Could it be a shout out to the so-called alt-right? Could it be a shout out to the racists in the United States and the anti-Semites? This is absolutely astonishing. And then, you know, all these things that like almost don't even get stories. This hours after this, the headline, Adrian Masha Varkiani, writing over at the Center for American Progress's blog, Think Progress. Hours after Trump signs Muslim ban, Texas Mosque goes up in flames. A Texas mosque was set on fire just hours after Trump signed an executive order restricting migration from Muslim-majority countries. The Islamic Center of Victoria was set on fire around 2 a.m. on Saturday. They've already started a GoFundMe site, by the way. It's called the Islamic Center of Victoria down in Texas. And this is amazing. This Muslim ban. The fire in Victoria comes just 3 weeks after an Islamic center under construction in Austin, Texas, was set on fire and destroyed. Meanwhile, Donald Trump just picked somebody for the job of being the chief prosecutor at the EPA for environmental crimes at the Department of Justice. Excuse me, it's not the EPA. It's the position is acting assistant attorney general in charge of the Department of Justice division that oversees environmental crimes. Guess who he picked? A guy who until last week was a lobbyist for the Southern Company. Right. We only learned about it because this little kind of notice on one of the government websites that they happened to catch over at The Intercept. This is Li Fang writing about this. Wood had worked for the last 2 years as a lobbyist for Southern Company, an investor-owned utility that generates, in other words, a for-profit, that generates 33% of its power from coal. Southern Company provided funding for the American Legislative Exchange Council, as well as at least $409,000 to Dr. Willie Soon, a controversial scientist who doubts that the Arctic is warming. Right. $400,000 to one so-called scientist? Which brings us to Scott Pruitt. We'll get into that in just a moment. So anyhow, a lot going on. And I've got, this amazing story. I'm going to get into this, I think, in the next hour. But the headline, I think, is enough. This from page6.com. NBC wants to be the next Fox News, insiders say. Right. We'll be right back.